Welcome to another time here at the book club. Is what we got to do every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. West African time. We get to read a book, learn from it, discuss it, share real life experience about how we can use it, ultimately to make our lives better. This is just an opportunity to do life together. That's all it is. And we're using the excuse of reading a book to do that. This is our sixth book we're reading in the series. We've been doing this since 2021. We're in our TED. We've done we've done probably we've done we're in our fourth year doing this, and this is our sixth book we're reading. Is The Good Life. We've been reading this since the first Sunday in July of last year, and we're in chapter 7. Today is going to be our last take on chapter 7. Next week we'll go on to chapter 8. There are 10 chapters in the book, so we have 8, 9, 10 to go. Then we'll do a summary of the whole book, a recap. Then we'll go to our next book, our seventh book. I'm yet to decide on what that book is. So let me know if there's a book out there that you think will benefit us all, be a blessing to us all. Let me know. I did order a book called The Amen Effect, which is similar to this one we're reading right now. Something introduced by Marc. He got the author of one of his podcasts, so I'll see. That's one of the books that's possible. I have several books, we're gonna make a decision before the time is right, which one we're gonna use to go. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and do today's. And one second, I gotta close this door. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and take today's on like I typically would do. I'm gonna bring up my slides here and we'll just take it from there. What we've been learning in chapter 7, last 2 Sundays, we've talked about emotions severally here, and we looked at 2 most important or heaviest emotions that seem to affect our relationships, and we said those are empathy and affections, right? So we've looked at empathy 2 weeks ago. Last week we looked at affection. I hope that was good. I hope you learned something. I'm right now doing some write-up. I've done a set of write-up on empathy. I'm presently doing the same on affection, just putting in written form the same thing we've said. So I have three parts on my blog for empathy. You can get to see that. I have 6 takes on that on Facebook. Pretty much do 2 takes on Facebook and combine them into 1 take on my blog. I've done 2 takes on Facebook, 1 take on my blog for affection, and we'll have several ones to go to close out affection. But enough of my pitch talk. I'm going to bring up my slide here and we're going to go ahead and take today's session. All right. So we're going to be closing out, on chapter 7 of our book today. And chapter 7 pretty much just talks about relating with our spouse, our important other, our person, our partner, but that same relationship can translate to different other types of relations, one-on-one relationships that we have. That's what we've been doing here in chapter 7, and we're going to close it out today. And the quote we've been using throughout this for this chapter is being one by Waldinger Lengel, which talks about vulnerability. You cannot relate except you're vulnerable. The extent to which you're vulnerable in your relationship determines the extent to which you want to go in that relationship. Vulnerability is the door to you. The extent to which you open the door to you determines how far you can go in any kind of relationship. If you're married to somebody and you decide not to be vulnerable to that person, you will not have depth in that relationship. The depth that you can have in any relationship is to the extent to which you decide to open up yourself. You can be married to someone for 25 years and not have any depth in the relationship if you are not vulnerable, right? So relationship, depth of relationship, connectedness, has nothing to do with longevity. It is to the extent to which you open up yourself. You allow your true self to come out, because whoever you show yourself to be, or to be, is the person that will be related with. If you put up a mask, is that person your spouse will relate with. Your spouse might never know the true you, right? So might be relating with the mask you put on, right? If you really want someone to see you, then you have to be in a place where you can be seen. You have to open the door to you so that the person can see you. If your door is closed, nobody would see you and you'll be lonely, right? You'll be lonely because nobody can connect with you because you have not opened the door of your heart, the door of your life, the door to your person. You are not allowing your person to come out to play. So nobody can play with someone that's not coming out to be played with, So yeah, so we're going to go on to the closing part here of this chapter. And the book says a great love, because of its importance to us, can become plagued by a great fear of loss. And this is why some people don't open up themselves, because they're scared of being disappointed. They are scared of being let down. So they don't even start. And that's in scripture, that is similar to that woman, the woman that entertained Elisha. When Elisha wanted to bless her, he said he said he didn't tell Elisha what she wanted. But when Elisha found out that he didn't have a son, and Elisha was saying, "Oh, in this same time next year you will have a child," he said, "Man of God, don't deceive me. Don't deceive me." She knew she didn't have a child, but she wasn't open, to say that was her need, because she was scared that she'll be disappointed. She was scared that she'll be prophesied to and it will not come to pass. And that might just be because several people have told her that and it never came to pass. She's raised her hope up severally, and our hope has been let down. Same thing in relationship. People have been disappointed severally, and they are now bringing their experience, their past experience, to this new relationship or marriage, and that can become a stumbling block, if you don't give your spouse the chance, to be him or herself. If you come into a relationship with idols in your heart, you will not have the best of this new relationship. This new relationship, you come with a stereotype of who a man should be, who a woman should be. It can stand as an hindrance, to your relationship, right? I'm not saying you should be stupid, obviously. In everything we do, we do caution, as human beings, but we need to give our spouse, our partner, our special order, important order, the chance to prove themselves. We should not come, assuming they're who they are not. We should not be stereotypical or stereotypical. Otherwise, we'll not get the best in that relationship. I could let me not make this personal. So let me talk. There was someone who proposed to someone he's been chasing, for a long time, 11 years, and he's done everything to show he loves this person. And the final thing that broke the camel's back was the lady saying no. And and the excuse the lady had was just some other relationship, some other relation of hers, that went into a marriage where the spouse was being abusive. because that person was abusive, she has used that as a mental block to keep her own self going into marriage, right? Unfortunately, that's probably that, that has held the person back all her life because she's seen a bad example. She has personalized that example such that she cannot move forward in her own life. Because someone failed doesn't mean you have to fail. There are very many good examples around. Choose your example. Choose your example. There are good examples, there are bad examples. Why choose one that will limit you? Why choose one that would not allow you to progress in life? Right? And this happens in several ways. Someone wants to go into business. The only example you are looking at is the people that failed. How about the people that did not fail? Why focus your mind, yourself on the people that failed? Focus your mind on why not focus your mind on the people that did not fail? There's nothing wrong. Hey, GK, thanks for coming along. God bless you. There's nothing bad learning from how those people that failed, right? We're not talking about a make-believe world. We'll learn from everything. We'll learn from positives. We'll learn from negative. If you look at someone that failed, oh, why did they fail? Learn the example, but don't be stuck in their failure. Those that succeeded, why did they succeed? Learn the example. Don't be hypnotized by their success, because you also have to do the right thing. Because they succeeded doesn't guarantee that you will succeed. Because they failed doesn't guarantee that you will fail. It's about you learning the lesson and applying it outright, right? Because you will face your own demons. Your demons might not be the same as they faced, because you are different. You're different. Some things are different concerning you, right? But the principles work in every environment. It's now learning how to apply the lessons learned, the principles, the laws. The laws will transcend irrespective of who you are, where you are. The laws will work, right? So if you can get the laws that those that failed, the laws that they missed, the principles they missed, those that made it, the laws that's working for them, the principles that are working for them, that is what you need to apply to guarantee success in your life. If you use the laws rightly, you will be guaranteed success in whatsoever area of life you are looking at, whether it be ministry, whether it be business, whether it be marriage, whatsoever it is, whether it be raising children, right? The whole of life has been well studied. There are ways to make it in this life. There are ways to make it in this life, irrespective of what area of life you're talking about. There are laws, there are principles, and there are people that have used them successfully. Right? See, that's why we read books. We read books to see how other people did it. If you can see how they did it and learn the principles they use, learn the laws they use, they will work for you. They will work for you. They are guaranteed to work for you, because laws and principles don't respect environment. They don't respect age. They don't respect your specific situation, right? We call them natural laws, right? If you apply them rightly, it will work for you, right? So let's go back to, so don't let a prophecy, a story, an event that does not empower you, have power over your life. When you see someone fail, ask the right questions. The right questions will give you the right answers, right? Quality questions will give you quality answers. Why did the person fail? What are the things the person did? What are the things the person did not do? If I was in this same situation, what can I do differently to guarantee success? Ask the right questions. If you see someone succeed, why did he succeed? What are the things that he did that made him succeed? What were the disciplines? What were the habits? What was the sacrifice? What was the discipline that got him where he got to? Right? That's how to succeed. Right? We'll learn from other people's examples. And that's the way God has created the universe, right? Because don't forget, all of us come here empty. Nobody comes here with the wisdom, the plan, the way how to live life successfully. God did not order things that way. Yes, God gives you your destiny, your purpose, the race you're going to run. He gives you talents, he gives you giftings, but he doesn't give you how to do it. He doesn't give you how to apply it. So when we come into this life, the first set of people will meet our parents or authority figures in our life, the guidance mentors in our life who are supposed to teach us how to begin to walk, how to begin to crawl, how to begin to run, how to begin to fly. We'll learn this from other people, right? We cannot learn it on our own. God has not done it such that you learn it by inspiration. No, you learn it from people, physical people, not spirits. Angels don't teach you, right? So you will learn this. This is the way God has ordained it. And that's why he gave us one commandment with a promise. He said, honor your father and mother so that you will live long, right? It's not just living long, it's living well. It's not just living long, it's living well. Because there are people who have run the race you want to run. If you learn from them, you will not have to repeat the mistakes they have made. You can learn the way they did it, then you can do it better. It's foolishness to always say, I want to learn it on my own, learn it on my own. You will not live long enough to learn all the things that you need to do in life. We can learn from other people. We can learn from other people's mistakes. We can learn from other people's success, right? We can, Isaac Newton would say, I have seen further, I have gone further because of the shoulders of the giants that I have sat on, right? He did not come and say, native is the hill, I found it myself. No, he went and learned what others have learned, where they stopped. And he then continued from where they stopped. He made better what already existed. He wasn't looking for something brand new. There's nothing new under the sun. He learned, he took what they've done and did it better, right? So yes, great love. You love, you open your heart. It could be limited by the fear of what will happen if this person disappoints me. But love is worth the risk because love is the only way. Love feeds us. Love is worth the risk. But as you do it, obviously, you're not going to be stupid. You're not going to test the waters with your two legs. You're going to put one leg in first of all and make sure you find the floor before you bring your second leg in, right? So the book says, after the initial excitement and euphoria of new relationship begins to wane, you might start to notice things about your partner that worry you. Nobody is perfect. Everyone you love also has things that will irritate you, right? No matter who you love, you go to a church you love, there'll be things in that church that you don't like. Your best brother, best friend, best whoever, there are things in their life that you don't like, right? So you have to find the balance, and you don't get if all you're looking for is someone that is perfect, you will never have a friend, you'll never marry anybody in life. It's a whole balance. I love my wife, but there are things about my wife that that I have to ask myself, I'm going to have to bear with those ones because she is who she is, and focus on the good side, for as long as they are not life-threatening, right? Because we're all on a journey of being better. Nobody's perfect, right? You're not going to find a friend that's perfect. You're just going to have to find the best way, to relate, to relate with everybody, focusing on the good side and having the right plan, or the right maturity to overlook the seeming shortcomings, right? So when you get into a new relationship, same thing that draws you, when you get closer, you begin to find out that this person isn't perfect. This person also has some some question marks, I remember one of our pastors who is late now, used to talk about that when she sees beautiful women, that what she does is that she focuses and looks at the things that are not too beautiful about them in a way to control the sexual energy that arouses, when she sees beautiful women. Maybe that's one way of doing it. I don't think that's right, Uh, yeah, but that was his own way of doing it. I don't do that. You know, I don't do that. But I learned to curtail myself. I learned to appreciate the beauty for what it is, without losing my senses, But everyone has question mark, right? No matter how beautiful someone is, there's always something, that is not that perfect, because we're just human, right? So life and maturity is the ability to appreciate the beauty, without falling prey to the question marks, in other people's life, especially your spouse, being able to bear with the shortcomings and getting the fullness of the beauty, in that person, because you two are not perfect, right? So easy to focus on other people's weakness, right? But don't you forget that you two are not perfect, right? I'm not going to go specific, but there's something my wife is always irritated about me, and one time she did it and I did not tell her. I told her later when she, you know, that thing you're looking down on someone else, you too fall prey to it. And if that person should hammer on it all the way you are hammering on it, you are not going to feel good, right? Love, relationship is built by focusing on the good, not the bad. The more I focus on the bad, the further apart we become. When I focus on the good, the closer we become, right? We need to learn to bear with one another. That's the way to build relationship. Bear with one another. You right? That's the way to build relationship. We'll focus on the good and allow grace, mercy on the shortfallings, right? So I'm going to go on here. So as with new challenges in relationship, new dance moves are sometimes awkward at first, and it takes couples time to learn the steps to adjust to and accommodate each other. When two people come together and they're trying to work together, there are some things, it takes some time to gel together, right? Because just the same way if you're learning new dance moves, right, you have to learn to get into sync with one another, and that happens in every relationship, and it doesn't ever stop because we're all growing. I'm growing, my spouse is growing, so we're learning to dance every day. I'm learning how to accommodate her shortcomings, and help her grow, as much as she is also supposed to do the same thing to me. But I'm not doing mine because she's doing hers. I'm just doing mine, and trusting in our maturity she will do as also. Don't forget again, a healthy relationship is one in which people come into because of what they can give, not what they can get. It's because of what they can give, not what they can get. So it is stupid when men say, oh, because until she respects me, then I love her. That's stupidity. That's not a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship is the one in which two people go into because of what they can give, not what they can get. So it is stupid when the woman says, "Oh, if she doesn't love me, I cannot respect you." That's stupid. That's immaturity. It's not because of what you can get, it's what you can give, right? That's what a healthy relationship is. However, what keeps that relationship together and keeps it vibrant, keeps it alive, is what each person gets from it, right? That is what keeps it alive. You go into it because of what you can give, but what gives it life, what gives it vibrance, what gives it fragrance, beauty, glory is what each person gets from it, not what they give, right? It's called the paradox of relationship, right? And that's true and it works, but as you come into a relationship with people, spouse, friends, it's a dance. You're learning each other. You're learning, oh, this if I do this, she won't be happy. So I draw back. I don't do that thing. This happens. It happens also with other people, right? Not just your spouse, right? I'm a pretty jovial person. I have a lot of friends in the office, right? Men, women, and I have to learn the dance. I have to learn the dance, right? And also for me, I've been an impact. I'm very sensitive to the energy in the atmosphere, but I have to learn the dance. I have to learn what works for different people. I have to learn if I do this, if this person might feel offended, they might feel that I'm encroaching their space. So I step back. I have to be, I cannot be the same to every person because every person, not everybody is the same, right? So I have to learn who you are and rub you the way that it will the way that it will work for you, because it's a dance, right? So we have to be in sync with you if I truly want to have a good relationship with you, right? But that's the same thing at home also. You cannot stereotype, right? You cannot be dancing the way you used to dance with your old spouse or your old boyfriend or your old girlfriend or your other relationship. You have to sync with the person you're in relationship with. That means you have to know that person, know what works for that person, what doesn't work for that person, and then adjust yourself, adjust your relationship, adjust your encounter, your engagement in a way that blesses that person, in a way that increases that person, right? That's how you build a relationship, right? So in the end, what matters most are not the challenges we face in relationship, but how we manage them. Every relationship will have challenges, right? Every relationship will have challenge. There's no relationship you go to that will not have challenge. Even in the church, there's nobody too holy that they won't have challenges. Even Paul had challenges. Paul had a fallout with Peter, right? So they were talking about people that have seen Jesus, touched Jesus, right? So it's just a human thing. You're going to have challenges. It's a human thing. It's not the challenges that are important. It's what you do with them. It's what you do with them. You don't allow them to rule over you. You don't allow them to take over you. You don't allow them to have dominion over you. You dominion over your challenges. Right. You dominion over your challenges. You use your challenges to build your relationship, to connect better together. Right. To connect better together, not to draw apart. Right. You don't use your challenge and then begin to abuse your spouse or do anything negative. No, it's also your opportunity to learn to curtail yourself, right? It's not all the time it has to be your way. You have to learn to curtail yourself, right? If that is what would help that relationship to work, right? Don't forget, that's what Jesus said when he said that when they slap you on one side, turn the other cheek. He's just saying you are responsible for what you do. You can never give the excuse that I did this because they did that. Remember when we spoke about emotion, Jesus is saying you are not at the mercy of the energy in your environment. Your energy, in your environment does not have sense. It does not have direction. You give it direction. You give it sense. Because when someone slaps you, what happens is that the energy of anger gets generated. The energy of anger appears. That energy is subject to you. You are the master. You are the captain. You will never give an excuse that because someone slapped me, that's why I slapped him. That is stupid. That will not stand the law. If you slap the person and that person falls and die, you will go to jail. You'll be guilty for killing somebody. There's never an excuse that he slapped me because I slapped him. I slapped him because he slapped me. That will not hold in court, whether in the physical realm or in the spiritual realm, right? The energy that is generated at each point in time does not have sense, does not have direction. You give it sense, you give it direction. Because your spouse has done something that you feel like beating your spouse or being abusive or saying some negative words or putting your spouse down, right? Because you feel like it doesn't mean you should. This energy that has been created, energy of hatred, right? You must not be at the mercy of that energy. You have to give that energy sense and direction. sense and direction. That's why the Bible says that a man who has no control over his emotion is like a city without walls. You don't have protection. You are expected to control your emotion, irrespective of what provoked you. You don't talk like you feel. You don't give people a piece of your mind. You give them a piece of your heart. Not a piece of your mind, a piece of your heart. Oh, nobody, anything but to love, right? Let love direct the emotion in your environment, the emotion in your relationship. You will never have a good enough excuse to have beaten your wife. You will never have a good enough excuse to have abused your husband. You will never have a good enough excuse to be abusive, whether verbally or physically or whatever. None. Only children do that. More is expected of you, right? Because you're supposed to be in control of the energy in your relationship. You give it sense, you give it direction. And that should be to bring you together, not to tear you apart, right? So let's move on. So there will be challenges, but you have to take control of it, right? So disagreements and the emotions that come with them are opportunities to revitalize a relationship by revealing those important truths hidden below the surface. Use your challenges, use your your disagreements to come up, to draw together, not tear apart, right? Don't be in a hurry to judge. Cool down, cool down. Don't be in a hurry to respond. Cool down. There's power in being silent. There's power in being silent. But don't be silent and be boiling with anger. It's silent and killing the anger so that you can have in your right senses to do the right thing and not be stupid, because you are responsible for everything that you do. You will never be able to blame someone, your spouse, that it was because your spouse did that I did that. Hold yourself together. Sometimes in all of that, God is teaching you self-control. Be the student God wants to, God is teaching. Hold yourself together, right? All right. So deep, intimate connections are by nature incredibly vulnerable situation, right? Like we said earlier on, you're never going to be intimate with anybody, your spouse or whoever, except, you're vulnerable, right? Hey, Peter, thanks for coming along. You're welcome. For you to be intimate with your spouse or intimate with anybody at all, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be naked and not ashamed. Naked and not ashamed. So sometimes we're limited by doing that because we have dirty leaners, dirty areas of our life. What you need to do is work on them, work on those areas of your life, right? Work in those areas of your life, clean up, do an inside job, because you're not going to build connection or have deep relationship with anybody if you are not able to be vulnerable. So you got to press to grow so that you can show who you are. So you are proud of who you show, right? You got to do an inside job. The more inside job you do, the easier it is for you to be vulnerable because you are proud of who you are presenting, right? Lazy people are the people that are not vulnerable because they have not done the work to clean the house. So if you're going to visit me at any point in time, if my house is clean, couldn't be bothered with a surprise visit. But if I'm a dirty person that things are upside down, then you just suddenly come to my house, don't come, because I'm not proud of what you see, right? People that are not vulnerable, it's just lazy people, right? This life is for you to work on yourself, build yourself, be the person you can show to someone else. You can open to someone else. If there are weaknesses in your life, build strength, right? I know some weaknesses in my life. Like I said, I'm an empath. I'm sensitive to energies around me, so I could easily fall prey to people wanting to defraud me in one sense or the other, so I have to stay away from some places, for that reason. You know, I have to not rush into making decisions for that reason, right? But that doesn't stop me from being vulnerable. I love who I am. I have weaknesses, no doubt, but I'm working on those weaknesses. First of all, I'm conscious of those weaknesses enough to be able to guide myself, in those areas, right? And we're going to talk. All right, we already spoke about affections, but I'm going to do some write up on what we spoke last week. Probably hear some more things, as I write that. Yeah, but as I relate, I have my weaknesses, I have my shortfalls. I know the areas I can easily fall, go off, But what I do is not to run away from relationship, is to be conscious of that and continue to work on it. And also it, know the things I expose myself to, right? Know the things I expose myself to and for how long, right? But you got to work on yourself, So when people are not vulnerable and they pretend to be who they are not, it's because they are lazy. They are not working on their life, right? I've been in places where people give all foolish excuses. They put up a tough face because they are trying to hide a weak person. That's stupidity, man. It's the same spirit. It's deception. Just work. If you're different at home from who you are in church, you're not a Christian. You ain't going to heaven. All right, that's not integrity. Because you go to some place and put up a tough face. Why? You need to work towards being the same person everywhere you find yourself, right? That's what's called integrity, right? If I cannot, if I cannot vouch for you in certain areas or in certain places, then you don't have integrity. You're gonna have problem in relationship, right? Enough of that. Let's move on. So when two people who are intimate are in harmony, the effect can be accelerating. But if the relationship falters, the result can cause intense emotional pain, feelings of betrayal, and critical self-examination. When you get so close to somebody, and when there's a break in that relationship, it's also can be deep hurt, right? It's just being human, right? Uh, and that's probably the reason why some people don't want to have a relationship. But that's stupid. We're here to relate with one another. Are there going to be incidents? Yes. Are there going to be disappointments? Yes. We'll handle them. I'm not going to stop my life because of the risk of someone disappointing me or someone failing me. All I'm going to do is put my best front forward. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes. I make mistakes and learn from them. Doesn't disqualify me because I made a mistake. What it qualifies me, it says I'm authentic, I'm human, right? I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to disappoint some people, but it won't be intentional, right? And I'm going to learn from it, right? Same thing with my wife, right? I'm just going to be me because it takes me to be intimate. It takes me to build a relationship. It takes me to have the paradise that marriage is supposed to bring me into, right? And same thing for all of us also. When you're in harmony with your spouse, yes, you're going to get that intimate relationship. And if someone disappoints, yeah, it could hurt deep. But that's no reason to run away from intimacy, right? Because that's why we're here. That's what we're here is to relate to each other, one another at different levels, right? There's a level of relating with my spouse. There's a right level of relating with a co-worker, an associate. There are boundary conditions, right? You need to know where the boundaries are, right? I'm not talking about some people relate and they don't have boundaries and they start being promiscuous. No, that you are still responsible. We're talking about relating with responsibility, right? Understanding the boundary conditions of whosoever you are relating with. If you are relating with an opposite sex that is not your wife, there are things you should not do. There are places you should not be. There are places you should not touch, right? There's no excuse around that, right? There are time limits. You should not spend with such a person, right? Otherwise, you are responsible for what happens after. right? So it's sensible, matured uh relationship we're talking about, right? So let's move on. So to have an intimate partnership with someone is to expose ourselves to risk. That's what we've said. Because when I relate with somebody, my nerves are out because I'm trusting you, right? So my nerves are out. You can hurt me, you can disappoint me, right? But that's no reason not to relate. Yes, if I do that, yes, I can put some safeguards. Nothing wrong in putting safeguards into my relationship. Nothing wrong in having functional and healthy boundaries in my relationship. Yes, nothing wrong with that. Every human being should have functional and healthy relationship in boundaries in their life. Only mad people don't have boundary conditions, and you're not a mad person. When you're a sensible, sound-minded person, you will have boundary conditions in your life, for every relationship that you have, and those boundaries protect you, right? So mutual reciprocal vulnerability can lead to strong and more secure relationships, right? The ability for partners to trust and be vulnerable with each other, to pause, notice their own and their partner's emotions, and comfortably share their fears is one of the most powerful relationship skills that a couple can cultivate. It's just being open to one another, sharing your heart, sharing your deep thoughts, and trusting one another, right? We've come a long way. I'm going to be 26 years of marriage next month, right? Just a few days, 2 weeks from now, about 2 weeks from now, it'll be 26 years in marriage, right? I've come a long way. I've come a long way from a place where I felt, who is this person I married? And we've come a journey 26 years. We've had our ups and downs and all of that, but we're getting better. We're getting better. We don't take it for granted. We're still humans. So, but we're getting better. We're learning. I do this, so I know a lot of things, but I also try not to use that to oppress my wife, right? The things I won't tell her, I can tell her because it'll be like she wouldn't respect what I'm saying because she would probably think I'm telling her because of myself, right? I know a lot, right? Because I do this. I've been doing this for years, right? But I don't oppress my wife with it, right? There are things that's easier for me to cancel someone as I can't cancel my wife just because she might think I'm saying it because of what I want to get, right? But we're growing, we're learning to respect one another. We're learning, we're growing, and that's what every relationship should be. Learn from the shortfalls, learn from the mistakes, and continue to grow, share with one another, know how far your spouse can go in certain areas, know their weakness, their strength, and just help to build one another together. We only have a short time here. Let's enjoy it. Let's have the best of it. you know the book goes on and says that just as trees, need water, intimate relationships are living things. And as the seasons of life pass, they can't be left to fend for themselves. They need attention and nourishment. Your relationship will only be as good as the attention you give to it, what you feed it with, right? The another person's relationship, green grass, is because they water it. Your relationship can just be as good and better than theirs if only you water yours and take care of this, right? Your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, is as good as your nourishment of it, the attention you give to it, the way you cultivate it, the time you spend, the attention you give to the details of it, that's what's going to make it happen. I just love this weekend. I've just been meditating on the 10th commandment. It says, thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not covet. There's so much power in that 10th commandment. Thou shalt not covet, right? Don't look at another person's life to judge your life. Make the best of what God has given you. Focus on what you have and make the best of it. Cultivate what you have. whether it be location, whether it be the money, whether it be people, whether it be placing in life. Cultivate what you have, make the best of it. That's all life requires of you, and you will get everything that you need from life. Don't be always looking at, oh, someone is better than me. They are doing that. Should I do it? Oh, yeah. That's stupidity, huh? You need peace in your life. So Paul was writing, I believe he was writing to the Thessalonian church. It says study to live a quiet life. Your way to live a quiet life is to be contented with what you have. To be contented with what you have. Don't convert another person's wife. Your wife is the best that you need. She might not be there right now, but she has everything you need in this life for a wife that heaven has given. All you need to do is nurture her, cultivate her, do your part. It's not about wishing that another person is your wife. It's about doing something about the wife that you have. Other people might have children that are this or that. Your children are the best heaven can give you. And you can nurture them. Nurture them. You will be pleased. You'll be amazed at the end result if you do your own part. Right? Relationships are living things. People are living things. They sprout to the extent to which you nurture them, you cultivate them, you spend time, you give attention to them, you invest in them, right? Thou shalt not covet. Love what you have. Make the best of it. Nourish it. That is what heaven requires of you. That's the key. That's the key to true riches. That's how you open the windows of heaven. A lot of people block their windows of heaven. They have a brass over their head because they're always coveting. Oh, my friend has this. Oh, God, you are not good. Oh, my friend had children finish school before me. Oh, they have already married. Oh, I have not married. All of those are words that are blocking your heaven. Those are words that are bringing curse over someone's life. Thou shalt not covet. Let me move on. All right. Love seems the swiftest, but it is the slowest of all growth. No man or woman really knows what perfect love is until they have been married a quarter of a century. Love takes time to grow, just like every other thing in life. Nature is never in a hurry. Nature is never in a hurry. Take your time to nourish your life. Take your time to grow. Take your time to grow. Take your time to nourish your life. You right? Never in a hurry. You see someone that wants to lose weight. For as long as you're focusing on the weight, you will never see the result of the exercise you're doing. But if you take your mind off the weight and continue doing the right things, you'll be surprised where you will get to. You say, I have a good toned body. I love my toned body. I do exercise. I pay the price for it. I get a workout 3 times a week. And I love the result. I love my broad chest. You see, I'm talking to you. I'm not falling down. This is a broad chest. It came from work. You see my hand? I love it. If I put it here, I'm proud of it. I work it out. It didn't come in one day. It didn't come in one day. I built it over time and I'm still building it. But I love the result I'm seeing, right? It takes time. And your relationship also takes time. Continue to do the right thing. Don't be in a hurry to see the result. Oh, I've been doing this. I've been giving her money. Oh, she's still not loving me. She's still not respecting me. Focus on your part. At the right time, you will see the results. Focus on your part. Do your part. Again, a healthy relationship is not one that you come into because of what you want to get. It's because of what you want to give. A healthy relationship is not one you come into because of what you want to get. It's because of what you want to give. Yes, what makes it vibrant, what makes it alive, what nourishes it, what gives it glory is what you get, not what you give. But you must go into it because of what you want to give, not what you want to get. All right? Let's move on. Amazing things can happen when a relationship is nurtured over decades. When you nurture it over a decade, you have history. You have history. Things can happen, but you know where we're coming from. And I have friends like that. I have friends we have history together. People I've known for decades. And today I'm connected to people from my elementary school. I left elementary school in 1978. I'm connected to people from my secondary school. I left secondary school in 1983. I'm connected to people from my university. I left university in 1990. I'm connected to people from my old place of work. I left there in 1996. And I'm working where I am. I've been working here the last 28 years. So I have different relationships that I've nurtured over time, you know, and those are important because we have history, right? On the other hand, if our most important relationship is neglected, life can devolve into isolation and loneliness. When it comes to relationship, what you get is what you put into it, right? You have to invest to get the results, that you get out of it, you know. So some quick things, keys to satisfying relationship include affection. You must have affection, and we said it. Two important emotions in the relationship, affection and empathy. And we spoke on those two the last two Sundays, right? There's no relationship, there's no affection, right? You also need to be curious. You need to ask questions. You need to ask after people. If your friend is your spouse is not feeling well or is down, you need to ask questions. Don't always assume, right? Asking questions is another way of showing empathy. The person wants to, it feels seen, feel heard, and so feels loved, It's also the willingness to face towards challenges, emotions, and problems rather than avoid them. It's a willingness to resolve things together. That also shows love. So I'm trying to close here now. So relationship, and especially intimate ones, play a crucial role in how satisfied we are in any particular moment. When you have the right relationships in your life, it has to the level of satisfaction you have with life. I can tell you that. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people I can call on to, people that cannot possibly die for me, or at least I can die for, and I continue to build it, right? And one of the things I did, I because I'm a life coach, I have lifetime goals for me, what I want to happen on my dying bed, what I want my parents to say about me, my siblings to say about me, my children to say about me, my wife to say about me, friends to say about me, colleagues to say about me. I have all of that written down. And every day I live to make sure that will be. I live my every day to ensure that will be on my dying bed. That will be what people will say about me. So I do that on a daily basis. I already do know what I want my wife to think about me. So on a daily basis, I sow, I invest to make sure that is what will happen, right? It's not going to happen by accident. Your children will not love you by accident. Your children will not appreciate you by accident. Your children will not draw close to you by accident. It's a function of your investment in their life. I'm not saying you should kill yourself within the limit of what you can do, within the limit of who you are. Pay attention to the important people, important persons, important relationships in your life, because that's what will keep you, right? Again, this book is a good life. We're saying what it takes to live a good life, what it takes to live long and well, long and well, long and well, right? What it takes to live long and be fulfilled, and what it takes to be healthy, what it takes to feel complete in living this life. I would say it's relationship. It's having the right relationships in your life, right? And to do that, you have to invest into them, right? So intimate connections become particularly important in late life, right? As when you're young, but in late life, when everybody's gone their way, the only people that will call you are the people you have invested into their lives. You sit down, nobody's calling you, is because when you could, you did not call them. You did not invest in their life. But if you invest when you can, you will reap the harvest of your investment when you need it. There'll be a time you'll be needing people to call you. Call people now when you can, because those are the people that will call you, or someone at least will call you because of your investment, because God is the God of the harvest. So when you can, because someday you will need to reap, right? So uh, couples who are able to face stresses together reap benefit in health. When couples are able to face stress together, it makes them, it brings them apart, and it increases the quotient of their health. But when they're not able to, they become depressed and their health deteriorates, right? So, but when couples are able to face problems together as one, not as two, right? It increases their health, their well-being, and satisfaction in their relationship. Intimate relationships can be an incredible source of sustenance for our minds and our body, right? But there are limits what they can do, right? Uh, so yeah. So, but when your relationships are right, it affects the whole of your body, the whole of it. But there are people that don't feeling well. The doctor cannot find out why they are not feeling well. It's just because they don't have the right relationships in their life. It's not a physical thing. It's not the village people. Some of these people that have problems, it's not village people. No. It's just psychological problem. They don't have the right relationship in their life. It's not a physiological thing. They're not feeling well. It's not a physiological thing. It's just because they don't have the right relationship in their life. It's not village people. It's what you have invested into the relationships in your life. You are psychologically not well, right? And it's affecting your physiology, right? So I'm about closing here. If we want to give a relationship the best chance of success, we have to support it by sustaining all other parts of our life. Sometimes we overburden some relationship because we're not taking care of other areas of our lives. If I depend on my wife for everything, she's gonna wear out, right? But because I'm a full person, I don't expect that to be the one that will exercise with me, the one that would think about business with me, that would drive me here. We need to live a full life, right? Because you married somebody doesn't mean you have to overburden the person. You still have to be yourself, be alive. You need friends. Your wife should not be your only friend. She'll get tired of you. You get tired of her, right? You need to live a whole life. You need to have people in the office you relate with, people in church you relate with, your family people you relate with. It's narcissists are the people that try to cut you away from every other relationship in your life. If you're having a relationship with somebody and the person's trying to cut you away from other relationship in your life, run away from that person. That person wants to imprison you. That person wants to use you, right? In a healthy relationship, it does not cut you away from the other relationships in your life, because a full human being needs people for different things in their lives, right? I need my workers in my farm to do some things that my wife cannot do. I need my lawyer to do things my wife cannot do. I need my consultants to do things my wife cannot do. I need my people in the office to do things my wife cannot do, right? I need my siblings. I need my parents to do things, right? I need my children to do things, right? The more complete we live, the better our relationships are. And we're not overburdening any part of our relationship for our slack in one other part, right? So let's live full. Let's live full. Let's live full, right? And not overboard in any relationship. Our partners may in fact be our better halves, but they can't by themselves. He make us whole. My wife cannot do everything I need. I need friends in my life, and I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends, And as I read this, it helps me to even have more friends, and that's important. That helps my relationship with my wife, So because I'm not overburdening her for my social needs, as it were. As we close here, there's this quote here by Henry David Thoreau. There is no remedy for love, but to love more. There's no remedy for love, but to love more. The way to live a good life, the way to enjoy this life is just to love more, not less. Love more. Love your spouse more. Love your parents more. Love your children more. Love your co-workers more. Love God more. Love your pastor more. Love your congregation more. Love your associates more. Love your workers more. Love your whatever more. Bible says we should hold nobody anything but to love. Love is the key to life, right? Let's love more. Let's learn how to love more. I'm not saying be stupid. You still have to have your boundary conditions, but love more, right? So seek to catch your spouse doing something kind. Focus on the good. That will build your relationship. Step out of the old routines. Let your spouse know that you're thinking about it. Don't just do the same thing without thinking. It makes a lot to know that someone is thinking about me and doing something because of me. Use the wiser model. We talked about the wiser model in chapter 6. It's pretty much just not being in a hurry, taking in things, understanding things, and responding, not reacting. Responding, not reacting, right? And I'm going to close with this quote here by Mark Timberlake is, love is an action, not a feeling. Love is an action, not a feeling. For God so loved the world that he gave. He did not love the world so much that he felt. He gave, right? If I love, I will do something that will show my love. Love is a choice also. It's not something you're forced into. It's something you choose to do. You choose to do. You choose to love. You choose to be a better husband. You choose to be a better wife. You choose to be a better parent. You choose to be a better friend. You choose to be a better boss. You choose to be a better pastor. You choose to be a better member of the congregation or church member. Love is a choice. In fact, love is a commitment. Right? You commit to the person you love. It's a commitment, right? It's a commitment, meaning you have a vision for that love. And that commitment, that vision keeps away the things that does not work for that love or that commitment or that vision, right? And focuses on the things that bring you together. All right. That's all I have for today. I hope. Thanks. I have the greatest number. Join me on Instagram live today. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I have things going on my blog also, on YouTube also. It's gonna hit uh Facebook here shortly. But thanks. Feel free. This is recorded and it's on YouTube. Feel free to add your voice to mine. Anything I've said you want to say more, feel free. You can put a note here on Instagram live. I'm gonna put this on my reel, on this reel on my place here on Instagram live. Once I'm done, it's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on Facebook. Feel free to join your voice to mine and let's learn together. Let's grow together. I don't know everything. I'm a human just like you. My shortfalls, my strengths. I'm growing, and I hope we can do life together and just make each other better. Thanks for coming along. I'm really grateful and humbled by your time, spending this time with me. All right, this is still next the same time next week. I'm gonna say shalom here. Have a great week ahead. God bless you. Thanks for coming along.